Hi everyone! Second
Hello.
time this week. Lucky. Look at all these lovely ladies that I have here. We are back for round 2 of Women in Procurement for Women in Procurement Month. Thank you to Amanda, particularly, who has done an epic job of getting the most amazing people together on various different LinkedIn Lives, webinars, all kinds of stuff this month. I was watching her LinkedIn Live with Dr. Eloise yesterday, which you really need to check out. It's cool. And she's also a big fan of clean data, which is also good. So I have most of the usual suspects from last time, as well as a fantabulous addition. So we'll start with Catherine because she's new to the group. So hi, Catherine.
Hi, I'm so excited to be here. Thanks for having me. I feel like I've messed up your grid here with an extra square, but I'm glad to be among some of procurement's best. So thanks for having me. And do you want me to do like full intro or?
Yeah, go for it. I mean, because you support women in procurement a lot.
I do.
So you go for it.
I do. Okay, so I'm Catherine McCleary. I am the marketing director at UNA, and we just finished up a really cool series, live panel series for women shaping procurement. I just absolutely, first of all, love the women in procurement, but I love the entire community in procurement and supply chain. Some of the most supportive people I've ever come across. And the last year and a half of getting to know this community has been such a joy. So I'm so glad to be here.
Great, thanks. So I'm going to move on to Ms. Mobley next because I think she was last time, and also she's got loads of news for us as well. So Ms. Mobley, why don't you tell us a little bit about your exciting news?
I will. Greetings, y'all, everyone listening in the gallery. I'm Madison. I am, the last time I was here, I was an enterprise sales director at Fair Market. We're a procurement tech provider doing some cool stuff with AI, RPA, machine learning to innovate the way folks buy. Now I'm still at Fair Market, y'all. So the news ain't that shocking, but I'm moving into a new role as the head of belonging, inclusion, and culture for Fair Market, which I'm so excited about. I can't even express. So that was announced on Friday. So this is still kind of hot off the press news.
I think it's more than just exciting for Fair Market. I think it's exciting for all of us because you're not just doing it for Fair Market, you're doing it for everybody. So very excited to see what the next few months is going to bring.
Thank you.
Cool. And then we'll move along to Sarah Barnes-Humphrey. How are you?
Good, thanks. So happy to be here. Congratulations, Madison. That's amazing news. And Catherine on everything that you guys have been doing for the month of March as well. So Sarah Barnes-Humphrey, founder and host of Let's Talk Supply Chain podcast, Blended Podcast, which is the new conversation in diversity and inclusion, and CEO of Ships, a technology platform bringing together freight providers and importers and exporters.
Brilliant.
Thanks, Susan, for having me.
Oh, thank you so much for coming back. It's so great to see you again. And then Amanda next.
I am so thrilled to be back. Thank you so much, Susan, for hosting us today. I cannot wait for the conversation to get started. So I'm Amanda Prochaska, also known as Mrs. Fix-It. I love going into organizations and helping them fix their situations when it comes to using technology, using new processes, etc. I am the CEO of Wonder Services, and it's all about change management where we come from. I also have the proud honor of leading the first ever Global Women's Procurement Organization, or GWPP. And a lot of the ladies on the call or those who are listening help out with that every single day. And it's definitely a team effort, but we're there to help support women in their procurement careers and beyond. And we also support a lot of men too. There's about 16% men in our organization across the globe. So come join us, look us up on LinkedIn. There's 4,500 of us that are all involved in uplifting each other and getting our shimmer-ons each and every day.
Brilliant, thanks. Then my lovely friend, Sarah Scudder, how are you?
Hello, happy Tuesday. Susan and I have something special in the works. So
Oh,
More
yeah.
to come in the next couple of weeks on our collaboration efforts.
Yeah. Like you've never seen before.
And I want to do a big thank you to Amanda on all of the events that you've coordinated. I know how much work goes into coordinating one event, and I think you have like 5 events every single week. So thank you to you for all of the effort and the partnerships and the events that you've been putting on. It's been really fun to be a part of some of the rooms and conversations. So I'm Sarah Scudder. I've spent my career in the marketing and marketing procurement space. I now run a technology company that helps organizations better buy all things print and packaging. I'm also really passionate about elevating women in our industry and am really focused on helping women better build a brand and communicate all the incredible things that our community has to offer. One of my favorite hashtags of the year is making procurement cool. So I'm on a mission to help in any way I can do that. And my company also produces a magazine called Procure Rising, which is either coming out today or tomorrow. So really excited to share that with the community that we're all a part of. We interview women and men doing incredible things in procurement and supply chain, and we tell their stories. So it's really fun to be able to share some of the work that goes unnoticed and being able to promote and talk about people's achievements, which I know we're going to be talking about today.
Cool. And I'm super jealous that you've had your hair cut. That's all I can, every time I see you, all I can think is that should be me.
Yeah, 13 months in the making, so it was long overdue.
Yeah. I was on a call with some people and they were like, have you changed your hair? I was like, no, it just needs done really badly. And it was a guy that noticed as well. I was like, it must be really bad if a guy noticed. I'm hanging on out there one more month. And then last but definitely not least, my British buddy Kavita. How are you?
I'm well, but before I talk about me, I just want to acknowledge today in the UK, it's 1 year since we went into lockdown, and a lot has happened here in the UK and of course across the world. So I just want to take a moment to acknowledge our health service and everybody that has gone and supported everybody in this nation, and the fact that we've got 30 million people vaccinated alongside. So just want to take a moment there, Susan. I think it's quite an
I think we are really, really fortunate here in the UK with the NHS. I think we definitely take it for granted, but they just do amazing things. Yeah,
amazing. And now on to me.
Yes.
So I'm the MD of Novaco Procurement Solutions. So we do 3 things. We do procurement as a service. We help build procurement functions. And most recently, we are helping organizations build high-performing teams. So 2 weeks ago, we launched a new arm to the business, and that's Smart Resources. So we have brought together the world of recruitment and the world of procurement, and hopefully helping organizations find the right talent for their teams. So that's been exciting, Susan, and I think it's been a bit more, I think a lot more activity than we expected, but it's certainly exciting.
Well, I think you've probably tapped into an untapped potential there. So.
Well, that's a conversation for another day on how we got here.
Yeah. No, we'll definitely talk about that. And today is all about achievements. Yes. So I think we're not very good at it, particularly as women, about talking about our achievements. And in fact, my coach Vicky, I think she even mentioned it on the day to day. And she told me I should post about what I'd done, and I said I didn't want to boast. I didn't want to be boastful. And she was like, but it's a fact. You did this thing. It's not boasting. You did it. It's a fact. And I think, Kavita, you did a post and then nobody posted anything.
Nobody posted. I was so sad. It was following a conversation we had in Proc Women, we talked about the fact that we don't share enough about facts and figures. We don't share enough about what our achievements are as women in procurement. And I wanted to encourage people to tell their stories, to share some of that information. So I put a post out on LinkedIn, I put a post out all over the place, and I didn't get much response, so I was really sad about that. So I think we're going to have to take a different approach, Susan.
But also, when you posted, I posted some comments. You posted yours, and then I had to tell you off because
we're not good at it. You're right. We underplay what we've done, and we've got to get much better at it. So it did highlight to me that we aren't comfortable, even us as quite confident people, to go out there and sell it. And the question is why? So we have to come about it another way. But it's certainly messages that we have to share. We have to go about it. And I think we've got some plans, haven't we? So ways we can address it.
Yeah, hopefully. So what about the others? How do you deal with sharing achievements and things like that?
So I'm hearkening back to a conversation that Sarah Barnes-Humphrey and I had, I don't know, maybe a year ago. And I think you've had similar experiences, Sarah, haven't you? Like, you interview these wonderful women and they have these beautiful stories. And then what happens?
Yeah, I was actually going to jump in with that, because like a really good example is my Woman in Supply Chain series. I feature these amazing women in this series, and they come on and they talk about their journey, and we talk about, you know, what has that looked like, and what are the challenges that you've gone through, and how did you overcome them, and so much incredible stuff there, and sort of celebrating that too as an achievement, right? Of being part of that and being able, having a platform to tell your story. And I can tell you, they don't promote themselves. They don't share the posts. They don't share, you know, very often. I wouldn't say all of them, but I would say a lot of them don't like to promote themselves. They say to me, oh, well, I don't want to look like I am, you know, boastful, like you said, Susan, right? I don't want to look like I am posting about myself and my journey. And they don't realize how much impact that they have on the industry just by telling their story. And they don't realize what this is doing for other people. And they don't even realize what it's doing for themselves. And it's giving them an opportunity to talk about all of that. Yeah. And then they don't take the opportunity and they don't post it.
Do you think that's, sorry, Susan.
No, go.
I was just saying, I think there's two things at play here. I think the first thing is that we feel a bit uncomfortable, a bit embarrassed maybe to say, oh, we've achieved this. And on the second hand, and I felt this, I didn't want to downplay anybody else's achievements by saying, look what I've done, and then making other people feel that they haven't achieved that, especially in the last year where we've been homeschooling, where there's been so much going on. So it's a strange one, isn't it, where you want to kind of say it, but at the same time you don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. So it's I don't know how we get around that, to be honest.
I mean, I've started to do more posts, and I found that I thought I would get more kind of negativity around those posts, but actually I get way more support than I ever expected, and people are genuinely happy that, you know, something good is happening to you. It's like, even if they're having a bad time in their life, they are happy for you. And I didn't expect that. I guess I would just expecting people to be like, well, it's all right for you, you know, you've got this, you've got that. And that's not what it's like. Mm-hmm. So, Kavita, I'm going to pick on you. What have you achieved in the last 12 months?
I knew you were going to ask me that. I was like, yes. Oh my God, I'm going to have to come up with some facts and figures now. Well, I have doubled my team. I have started a new business. I have homeschooled 2 children. What else have I done? I've moved office.
Did you?
Yes.
Was that before lockdown?
No. When I say moved office, we're in the processes of moving office.
Oh, so are you moving from where you are?
Yes, or to somewhere else. No, to a whole new office where we've done a really good negotiation. It's a good time to get office space right now, so it's a good move. So yes, that's what we've done. And
office warming party.
Exactly, and we've attracted. I think we doubled our client base as well. So it's been a good year, considering everything. And obviously, other organisations haven't done so well. But I think procurement supply chain has had a different experience overall, I think, this year.
Yeah, I'm going to sweep it back the way. So, Ms. Scudder, how about you?
Before I do that, I have some advice for people listening with us today that I think can really help people become more comfortable with talking about achievements. And I think we as leaders who manage teams of people, whether they're actually on our teams and our companies, whether we're dealing with contractors or a remote workforce, one of the things we can do is start incorporating achievements in our leadership strategy and style. And 2 things that I have started to do and seen done that have been really effective at other companies is if you send out an internal email, let's say once a month or once a week with updates or things that are happening, include a section in the newsletter that talks about employees' achievements. So that could be something like, Sarah released a podcast, blended podcast this week. She had 1,000 downloads. Amanda hosted 20 events this month. So make it a part of your internal communication strategy when you're sending out correspondence and information. The second thing that I've seen that works really well is when you're hosting meetings with your company, have the first 10 minutes of each meeting where everyone goes around and talks about an achievement that they are proud of. So if I was kicking off an RSNT meeting, I would say, here, we're going to talk about X, Y, and Z. Before we dive into our topic today, I want to spend the first 10 minutes highlighting and celebrating all of our achievements. And then you go around and you have each person say an achievement that they are proud of. And what that does is it gets people used to and comfortable talking about their own achievements. And then that's starting small and it's manageable. Then over time, I think what that does is it helps people become more comfortable, and then they're going to talk about it more publicly. Posting something on LinkedIn or social media can be scary for a lot of people. But if it's an internal team meeting or an internal conversation, I think it's a great way to start that conversation and process. So something that I've started doing with our team, and it's working really well. My best friend owns a staffing company, and they do things like that as well. And it's really, really helped them highlight and get their team more comfortable in talking about their accomplishments as well. So just wanted to share those tips.
Brilliant.
That's great. Yeah.
I think these are all very easy, actionable things that we can do as leaders.
And you've had some pretty cool achievements yourself this year, in the last year.
Yeah, so a couple highlights. Paul and I bought a house together and moved to Chateau Danville right before COVID lockdown happened. I think Amanda was our very first guest, and we had no furniture. Her and I both had a table and a bed, and that was about it. And a really exciting thing, actually, our company is doing a bit of a pivot. We're in the process of launching a bunch of marketing updates, but we are really making a pivot and focus on packaging. So we do a lot in the print space, but packaging is a huge, huge growth category and market. So the team and I are making a big pivot, and we've done some major updates to our technology and added some staff and resources to our team to really be able to provide expertise and be a great resource for companies in the packaging space as well.
I love your packaging posts. There's so much cool packaging out there. But actually, you left off, which I think is your biggest achievement, which is happy hour. You have connected so many people and generated so much business between those people, probably half of which you don't even realize. And that's all thanks to you.
Yeah, thank you. So my team and I launched a happy hour last year. Last year, we actually hosted it every single week. This year, we're doing it twice a month, first and third Wednesday of each month. Susan's been a regular. I know Madison, Sarah, and Amanda have all been able to participate. We get, 20 to 40 people in the industry each time together to really become friends and network. And we've been able to build a really great support system, and people have gotten jobs and business from it. So it's been really nice to see the partnerships that have come from it.
Yeah, it's been amazing.
Can you just celebrate Sarah for a minute? Because talk about master connector. I don't know about you guys, but she is constantly thinking about how she can connect people, and I just think it's amazing. So
yeah,
Sarah, kudos to you.
Thank you, Sarah.
Sarah, did you connect me to a semiconductor individual? Was it yourself that did that for me?
Yes.
Amazing. It's like a needle in a haystack. That's fantastic. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Amazing. That's so great that you found someone too. Next, Amanda. Well, I can think of a few to start off with.
So I also, to follow Sarah's lead, I was thinking about this, and I hear a lot from women that I'm not going to promote what I just did because this is what I'm supposed to do. Like, This is my job. This is what I'm supposed to do. So why promote it? And I think to me, it's answering that question around why celebrate the success. And if I remove yourself from that, like I'm boasting about myself, it's not about that. It's when we share our stories, people don't feel alone. They also can see that someone can do it. So it gives them hope for whatever they're going through. If they're striving to be the next Sarah Scudder, they now know what it took to get there. So that's what I always like continue to reflect on, is to help encourage people to share their stories, because it's actually not about you, although we always feel it's about us, but it's about the other people that we're sharing that story with, and how can we help them through their journeys by sharing that story. Whether it was great or whether it was something like Susan, you were on, sharing the challenges that you faced in your life. Each story that we can share helps somebody else, period, right? So that's what when people say, oh, it's just my job. It's like, no, you're doing it. You're doing it really well. Share it, because by sharing it, you're going to help someone along the way.
That's so true.
So that's kind of my point of view on it. Yeah. And so successes this year. Okay. I was writing them down. So I fought off con artists. So that's a big one. I moved my family across country yet again, right? 48 hours before lockdown. So that was always a lot of fun. I was the first guest at Chateau Danville. So that's definitely high on my list. I started a new company. It's taking off like gangbusters. I'm exceeding my revenue goals. I've met all kinds of fabulous people this year, and I've helped major Fortune 500 companies adopt their technology solutions and create change within their organization. So I would say it's been a fabulous year.
And you are raising 2 beautiful girls.
I am. And they push me every single day, to be an example for them and for others. So they are what ground me every single day.
Brilliant. Thanks, Amanda. And then next we've got Catherine, one of the ballsiest ladies in procurement. I'm going to give you that tag. I don't think anyone will disagree.
Hey, I'll take it. You know what? So I have been in marketing for a long time, and my job has always been to promote other brands. And that's what I do. I'm really good at finding the right message, promoting it, and making a connection with an audience. I'm good at that. What I'm also really good at is talking about myself and my own achievements in my personal life and my work life. My coworkers would tell you I'm not shy about telling you what I just did this week and how it's going to help the company grow. So I could probably even tone that down a bit. What I'm not good at is telling that publicly to everyone else. I would say in the last couple years, I've gotten better with that. Actually starting the Sourcing Hero podcast last year, one of my biggest achievements, I think, in my career, that gave me a little bit of a confidence boost. I kind of felt like I put myself out there a little bit, and I'd post on my personal LinkedIn and say, I'm really proud of this episode. This conversation was so impactful. At least, the people that I spoke to loved it. Please take a listen. So those types of promotions kind of opened up the door for me to have public confidence, right? So when I'm speaking to brand partners, or when I'm, speaking to anyone else outside of the company, I am confident in talking about my own accomplishments. But it is it's a big step to do it publicly online in front of people that you are, hundreds of people that you may or may not have a close relationship with. So going to be doing more of that. And I do try my best with my team in our weekly meetings to have them tell me, what did they do well this week? And it's an agenda item, and what are they proud of? So
I'm going to start that with my team.
You know what? And it's a tip I got from my husband. He's an incredible leader at Garmin, and he likes to promote his team as well. So he gave me that trick. And so in the last year, what I'm most proud of is basically coming into who I am, right, in my career as a woman, and really owning what I'm good at and going after it. And coming from some real hardship in the last few years, being a single mom and accelerating my career at the same time, that was really hard. And without claiming my success through that, I don't think I'd be where I'm at today. And so the transformation last year was incredible, and I had amazing support with my new husband. And I've got 2 amazing kids that, like you, Amanda, I feel like I've got to really push forward and show them what confidence looks like, that you can create your own success. And my favorite thing is to give them compliments, to give them praise. And I noticed my daughter in the last week saying that she's proud of herself when she does things. And I'm like, something clicked and something's working. My shy little 9-year-old is telling me how proud she is of her grades in school. And so, I love this topic. And I love Amanda's point about it not being a boastful moment, that we can talk about the great things that we're doing, because the more I'm talking about it at home, I can see the immediate impact it has on my sweet 9-year-old. And I'm hoping that if I can exude that publicly online, and even just in my own interactions with people, I would love to have just another sliver of impact on someone else. So this is an incredible conversation to have. And anytime someone wants to know how to brag about yourself, just let me know. I'm super good at that.
Nick, we'll get you on for a master class next.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks very much, Catherine. And Sarah, how about you?
Well, I just want to say, Catherine, you gave me goosebumps talking about your daughter saying that she's proud of herself. I mean, that is a really, really big deal. Ugh, you're going to make me cry. Anyways, because I just know what I went through, at that age. I was bullied all through elementary school and high school, which I don't talk a lot about. And my nephew's was going through a little bit of that. And so just to hear that the younger generation is thinking like that. So I've written down a whole bunch of notes because I love everything that all of you guys have said, but it's also sparked some stuff for me. I think, talking about women in supply chain series, talking about how we don't necessarily support ourselves, I think sometimes we have to also support each other. So if we're seeing that they're being, and I'm going to use the woman in supply chain series, but they've been featured in the Woman in Supply Chain series, maybe instead of waiting for them to promote themselves, maybe we take that and we share it and we promote them, ourselves, so that they can see that it's okay. And that's just one of the things because I think we need to start celebrating each other. I think we do that a lot in comments, but it's only if they post about it, right? I think that there's a lot of ways that we can celebrate each other. But I also think, which is a hard thing for me, is stopping and celebrating before moving on to the next thing. That is so hard for me because I don't know about you, but they are achievements. But sometimes for me, I'm like, oh, that's great. This happened. Amazing. Okay. Next.
It's the journey, not the destination.
Right. And so you lose sight of how important those achievements are and how important it is to stop and celebrate before you move on. So that was the other thing that I kind of wanted to bring up, because I can't be the only one, right? I'm probably not the only one. But I struggle with that for sure. And I think also quantifying numbers. So we're talking about how do we talk about our achievements in respect to numbers. And Audrey put this on her post yesterday when she was posting about what we're doing right now with the live stream. And she was saying, I think she said something about how she's spoken at a number of different conferences that had thousands of people attending. Well, if I think back on the conferences that I hosted or was a panelist or whatever in the last year, yeah, I'm probably at definitely thousands and thousands, and that's a huge achievement in itself. But until she posted that, I didn't actually realize that those are kind of the numbers that we should be using to quantify our achievements. And, and so I think there's a conversation around that. I don't know if you're going to bring that up a little bit later, but it's something that I definitely.
Yeah, something Kavita and I were talking about, trying to quantify like how much money women have saved organizations.
Or further, hashtag fact, right? Exactly what you're saying, quantifying it. And it could be how much money we've saved, how many people you're right, got in our network or we've presented to, how many we've helped, how many organizations, how many FTSE 100, FTSE 500, and in other countries equivalent. So yeah, all of that.
Yeah. So that was something else that came up. And then when do you promote? So I just got 200 followers in my Clubhouse room, or my Clubhouse club, Let's Talk Supply Chain Club. But at the same time, I look at that and I'm like, 200 is great, but should I be posting about 200?
Yes.
Should I be waiting till I get to 500? Like what does that look like? But I can't be the only one that has those kind of questions when they're what is an achievement and what does that look like?
I think going up has to be an achievement, surely.
So Madison actually, she taught me this a couple weeks ago, and I don't know if she knows that she taught me this. But we were trying to get 5,000 people in a room, right? 5,000 people in a room, all at the same time, and we didn't get there. But we had a lot of people in that dang room. Yes. And what she kept on saying is, we're manifesting the 5,000, right? You're manifesting 5,000 followers, Sarah, and getting 200 is a huge achievement. So we're all on a journey, and we have to celebrate those milestones along the journey.
And support each other with words like
yes. So thank you, Madison, for that.
Thank you, Amanda. I mean, maybe I'll post about it later. But just a couple of things that came up for me. There's a lot that's been going on in this last year. I came out with Blended, the new diversity and inclusion podcast, which, to be honest with you, I'm going to do a post about this on Sunday. All I keep hearing from people who have been a panelist is that they feel heard. And that is like the hugest achievement that I think that I could ever have. I launched a mini series. I launched ships. I tripled my downloads. 7 years married in July, so it'll be 8 years coming up. I launched Buddy Check. I expanded my team. I was on the top 10 list. Catherine, thank you.
Woo, yay!
And then the top 100 list, I was top 21 out of 100. We're on our path to hitting 30,000 followers on the Let's Talk Supply Chain LinkedIn page.
Wow.
So yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot to celebrate, and I was horrible at it. Just gonna say.
But you did a really lovely post about your stepdaughter. That one, I was like, that really got me.
You're the second person that said that. I had somebody actually say to me that it was like I was talking to her. Like my post was like, when I said go be amazing, it was talking to her, not necessarily my stepdaughter, which is, those are achievements to me more than anything else.
But it doesn't need to necessarily be business ones,
No.
Achievements are achievements.
But it's another great example of sharing a story.
Yes.
Right?
Exactly.
And how you've had a direct impact on so many because you chose to share that story.
Yeah. That's true.
One of the things, Sarah, I don't know if that you've inspired me to do this, but you're really good about posting about other people on social media. So one of the things that I'm now doing is one post a week, I'm highlighting somebody in my network.
Awesome.
So last week I did a promotion for Heather. She launched her new company and rebrand. And so I wanted to promote and elevate her. So because of you and all the posting that you do to elevate others, I'm doing a weekly post. And I'm hoping that will inspire other people to do the same.
Oh, I
love that. That's so amazing.
So if you hear me, see me sending a note wanting weird fun facts, you'll know why.
We know you're up to something.
I think you have all of mine. You've asked me twice, and I've just
yes, I just like I ran out.
Making them up. Yeah.
Thank you, Susan.
I can imagine though, like when the world opens again and we all have a big get together, and then we can have some great facts like Sarah got drunk and pushed Susan in a pool or something. You know, we could just like make up facts like that.
We did have, I think we ended up having like 4 people in Sarah's sauna. Did we not, Sarah, in Chateau Danville?
I think we had 5 people in my sauna.
Nice. Say no more. What stays in the sauna, what goes on in the sauna stays in the sauna.
It's a 2-person sauna, by the way.
Cozy, real cozy then.
Okay, yeah, definitely say no more. Madison!
Hey!
So, Miss Achievements.
So I'm going to start with kind of the biggest surprise to me when I think back on the last year. There were certainly a lot of things that I accomplished. For me, I wouldn't say that I'm someone who is insecure or afraid to talk about my accomplishments. I am typically in that kind of it's a matter of fact camp. However, one of the reasons why I do think I did a poorer job than I usually do around socializing my accomplishments is because in 2020, I achieved a lot of things because that felt like my bridge back to humanity, if that makes sense. Like when I think about everything that 2020 was. So for me, I'll walk through a few things. I moved from Charlotte, North Carolina to Boston to join Fair Market the day before the shutdown. So picture me moving all my cute stuff into downtown Boston. I'm about to live a real posh life. I was excited. I walked to work. It was a 10-minute walk. The birds were chirping. Folks were friendly. I go into the office for maybe 10, 15 minutes. It's like, girl, take this laptop, take that monitor. We're on lockdown. So I walked back home and I'm in isolation. And I remember, okay, cost of living adjustment. Yeah. Sitting here in my apartment until further notice. Got it. And in isolation, your mind does stuff. Right. And that's for everyone. I think we all had a period of time where we were managing that when folks were first required to shut down. And then you realize, yeah, this isn't ending anytime soon. So there's an adjustment period. So that was when I started reaching for things that required me to step outside of myself. So this then is how I met people like you, Susan, Sarah Barnes, Humphrey, Sarah Scudder, as someone who considers themselves very introverted. You know, it's bad when I'm in isolation and I'm like, okay, what do I do with my hands? Like I need to people, and I don't really too much like peopling all the time. But I end up inserting myself in these spaces, and I'm proud of the network that we've developed, because for the first time in my career, it's a group of women that I also trust with things that span beyond what I'm doing between 9 and 5. So super proud of that. And then when I think about the impact, you talk about social media impressions or the opportunity to reach folks that you wouldn't typically interact with around things like the elevation of the human condition, right? What a concept. All these things for me were beginning to take shape before you talk about George Floyd's murder, for example, which significantly changed the trajectory around how we managed even last year. So those are the things that I look back on and feel very proud about, because it all amounted to me managing my mind through a year that was very, very turbulent, both professionally. I think any of us who can think back on entering a role or a company for the first time, it's like, I think women, we take so much on. It's like, I got to be everywhere, do everything, overachieve. I think that's in us. And that's why I say matter of fact. But then it's also, how do you manage the stuff that's going on outside of Zoom when you're still required to show up every day. So that was a big piece of looking back on 2020, what I'm proud of. But then, of course, got a few industry certifications, got a few awards, certainly sold some software, because I mean, my goodness, you're in sales, you got to sell stuff. So that's a thing that you got to do. And yeah, I did all those things. Built some awesome communities. Clubhouse is a space that we love so much now, and has a huge potential to grow reach and grow messaging around a lot of the work that we still have to do. And then, goodness, one of my biggest priorities moving forward as someone who is a woman, who is Black, identifies as queer, how do I show up in a way that folks who look like me, in any sense of the word, I can check about 17 boxes. If the survey's written right, I could probably check more than a few boxes. So how do I drive the point that representation matters? It's not as much as me boasting accomplishments. I just want you to see that we're here in all of our glory and all the different flavors of human. That's kind of where my mind is. So how do I get more Black folk, women, into tech, into sales? How do I get them to places where they feel like they're thriving versus surviving? Those are the type of the things that I've done and am proud of, and I'm continue to insert myself in moving forward.
And your personal brand and profile, that's a huge achievement.
Yeah, it's
Who was Madison Mobley a year ago, and now look at you.
Just out here in these virtual streets, hanging out with y'all. So I mean, it's good, but this type of forum just highlights the importance of representation and why it matters, and giving folks something to see, because it's easier to set goals and set long-term vision for a thing if you can kind of grasp what it may look like. I think it's important.
Yeah, no, thanks.
We live for your spicy hot takes.
Yeah,
we do.
Well, more to come in this new role. So
but it's going to be quiet for a week, and then she's going to have all this saved up.
I got nothing but time for this.
Susan, what about you? You've accomplished a ton in the last 12 months. What are some of your favorites?
Honestly, I don't even...
Susan, I don't think you've got enough time left to cover everything you've done.
Truth.
Well, quickly, I think for me, the biggest thing is the business. It was like I was literally knocking at the end of the road about this time last year, and now I'm looking to finish off the year somewhere between 500-600% growth. So it's been pretty phenomenal. Got a team now. I'm looking at least doubling my growth again next year, based on what's already coming in, and we're not even in month 1 yet. So it's been amazing, and I think more than that, it's for the first time in years, I am not worried about how I'm going to pay my rent next month. And now I'm living in literally my dream flat, and I'm going to have a balcony this summer, and I'm so excited about this balcony. And Kavita's going to come over, and we're going to drink loads of Prosecco, and it's going to be brilliant. And that is, I've got a better quality of life now.
I'd like an invite.
Yeah.
And I'd also like an invite to Chateau Danville.
Yeah.
If we're going anywhere, we're going to go and see Amanda in Vegas.
Yep.
Yeah. And
welcome. Come on out.
Right.
I need to see Magic Mike
welcome
again.
to the Mobley Villa. So
I need to see Magic Mike again as well.
And Susan, can we talk about Lip Sync Sunday, please? I think you've created a movement.
I kind of have, and it's really weird. So you've said it, Sarah, and I've heard it on Clubhouse as well, that people genuinely look forward to my lip syncs on a Sunday, and just to know that you're making someone's day a little bit better, that's a really nice thing to be able to do. And probably the least likely thing I thought I would be doing. But my lip sync videos consistently get 2,000-3,000 views now, which is crazy for something that's not even business related. Yeah, and I think I've definitely grown as a person as well. Like I've worked with a coach, and I am now okay with owning that I'm good at stuff, and saying that I'm good at stuff, but also knowing when to say I'm not good at stuff. I'm working on a project right now, and I'm like, I'm not the best person for this, so I'm okay with that too, and beyond everything. And all of that, there's the book. I'm going to write a book. I am writing a book, and it's got to be in like a week and a half. And yeah, I can't believe it. It's crazy.
I'm sorry. Is this an announcement? I didn't know that.
Well, I kind of spoke about it back in September when I signed with the publisher, but then because I haven't really been writing the book, I haven't really mentioned it. And then now I'm like,
what's this book about?
It's okay. So it's going to be called, are you ready? Between the Spreadsheets, Classifying and Fixing Dirty Data.
Between the Spreadsheets. Yes, ma'am.
Just straight up genius.
So on brand.
Yeah.
So on brand.
I am volunteering to host your USA book launch party.
Yay! Brilliant. So yeah, and it's I've got people like my team reading chapters and stuff, because also
Susan, how many people did you have at the weekend when you made the comment about the vendor or the supplier? I mean, you talk about
vendor versus supplier, that got 70,000 views and over 1,000 people voted on that. That was crazy. So that's a whole nice wee bit in the chapter now. And yeah, the feedback I'm getting is one of my ladies said she was having fun reading it. And that for me is everything, that means one of the other guys said, that my tone comes across. So that's perfect for me. As long as I can get that across, then I'm really happy. So yeah, so that's me.
The first ever exciting book about data.
It's going to be.
I'm going to read because I ain't got time. I have not had time for all that until you started doing what you do.
Yeah, but actually, on the flip side of that, I am still really uncomfortable around pricing and being confident in pricing. And actually, I've achieved a lot, and I should be like, yeah, these are my fees, and this is what you have to pay. But yeah, that's like, we had a great conversation in Clubhouse around the saying no, basically, as well. So that's still a work in progress, but I think it's with the achievements. I think it's good to share your challenges as well, because then you're a real person, and then it is more achievable for others to watch and say, okay, so yeah, actually, you know what, it is, they have worked hard to get to where they are. It isn't a breeze, and okay, if I do this too, then that could be me. Without thinking, overnight I'm going to be a YouTube star and make loads of money and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, there's a lot of time that people don't see the journey to getting to where, where they see you, where you're at that point and they're like, wow, that looks so easy. And you're like, well, maybe not.
Yeah, that overnight success took 5 years, yeah. But actually around stats and things again, I do a job and I've probably classified around 5 million rows of data in the last year. And I've probably saved countless amounts of money, but I've never followed up to find out, because there's such a lag from when I do the work to probably when the savings are made. I really should be following up to find out how much I've helped people save, so I need to get better at that as well.
Susan, can we do a little commitment or a little promise that we do this, record this again in 1 year's time, and that we all collect all of this data that is missing or where the gaps are, and we share it, maybe on a big infographic that I can actually finally put together. Yeah.
Yes. Actually, yeah. So I did just like a off the cuff online forum over the weekend for data horror stories for the book. And like about 15 people have like donated anonymously like their data horror stories. So yeah, I think if it's anonymous, people are more comfortable with sharing that information again, which is, you should kind of own it. But, if we can get some information, wouldn't that be amazing?
Susan, something else that's really top of mind for me this week that I think is relevant is I think all of us as women can do a better job of volunteering to speak publicly. So I am launching a new monthly packaging series, and it's going to be a LinkedIn Live series. I finally got my LinkedIn Live approval. So
congratulations.
to start hosting shows.
You know, you were like the busiest woman amongst all the busy women here.
And so one of the challenges is I couldn't find any female speakers in packaging. So here I am, I'm going to be hosting this event, and I don't want it to be me and all these men.
Yeah.
So I did
a thing about manuals.
Yep. So I did a post yesterday, and Amanda, thank you, Darlene, has been amazing. And I secured a female speaker already from her, and I one more. But I think as women, we can do a better job sharing our accomplishments by volunteering to speak on panels, because it's a great way to story tell and inspire and motivate others. And when I go to put panels together, I have a hard time sometimes getting enough women on the panels. And that's a problem for me. Because
is it that you're advertising and they're seeing it and choosing not to go forward, or is it that they don't know about it? They don't know where to find these opportunities? Because there's two different strands to that.
I think it's both, Susan. I think it's both.
So here's a strategy for you, and this helped me quite a bit when I started wanting to get more exposure and broadening my horizons and networking. And I think it's something that people just don't think of day to day. So when I was in procurement, I would get invites to conferences all the time. So they want me to go here, want me to go there. And I couldn't go to all of them. But what I started doing is saying, I'll go if I can be a speaker. I'll go if I can moderate a panel. I'll go if I can be part of a roundtable. Anything like that, where you actually go out and you grab the horns and make it the way you want to make it. Right? You have to, like Eloise was talking about yesterday. She's like, go knock on that freaking door. Go be the chef in the kitchen. Don't wait for someone else to allow you. Go do it. And so I think that's a message that, like, I don't know if a lot of people think about when they get an invite like that. You don't have to just be a participant. You can be a speaker. You can be a panelist. Just ask the question. And I think it will be a game changer for so many women.
Yeah, I did a post a couple of weeks ago that was called Raise Your Hand. And I think I'm up to over 250 comments of women and men who have commented on the post, that are raising their hands, that have said what topics they can talk about or they would like to talk about. So if anybody is looking for people for panels or for upcoming conferences, I know some conferences that are already looking at that post for the list of people. I've already pulled a couple of people from that list for different things that I'm doing. But please go and use that list as a resource, because there's so many amazing people that have raised their hand and said, yes, I'm here. I want to speak. These are the topics that I want to speak about.
Amazing. Well, I was just going to pick on Kavita and Madison because both have a lot of great things to say, but I don't see either of you guys on any webinars and is that just a personal choice thing, too busy, or are you not getting asked? And it could be different when we're kind of like supplier side, because normally they want you to pay to go and speak at events. But just curious to know.
Madison, tell them about our podcast.
Oh yeah. So I've been, but this gets back to my thing, which is I don't always take to social to say I've done a thing. So that's a personal problem that I'll be addressing shortly after this panel. But no, there are definitely some things coming. Sarah Scudder and I did a podcast with Sam Gupta, and I am speaking at a sales conference coming up on one of the panels. I'm also speaking, I think May 6th is the date for an AI institute. So I mean, it's definitely, I'm quick to raise my hand, particularly now. Because I just think there's so much that can be said, particularly if you ask me to talk about DEI. Like DEI got all the time y'all need today. How about that? But yeah, I think The one thing I've gotten good about, though, is I'll raise my hand and I will also quickly follow up to say what exactly is on the docket, because I'm not the one for, no matter what the topic is, I'll show up. I want to make sure I can always speak intelligently to whatever the topic is. I also think, though, stereotypically, I think we're doing better at this. Women are more likely to say, if I'm not 100% qualified by my standard to speak about a topic, then I'm not going to lean in.
Yeah, that is me. Yeah.
Yeah, and we have to do better.
That does not include me. I will take it till I make it on any topic.
Yeah.
I'll say it right now.
Me too.
No, I would agree with Madison on that. Actually, I'm the same there. And I think from my perspective, believe it or not, I get quite anxious. Like I'm not as much as it comes across that I might be quite comfortable. I get anxious in public speaking. Although I've done it, and it's not my natural thing. So it's not something I proactively go and do. But when I'm asked, I do it.
So I have a fake it till you make it example. So I got asked to speak on RPA, robotic process automation. Actually, it was one of those examples where I was like, I'll go to your conferences if I can speak. And they're like, oh, the topic is RPA. And I was like, fabulous. I don't know. So I studied up on it. We used RPA as a pilot. So I kind of had a concept, but so I present the whole front row, 10 people, I kid you not, major, a consulting firm that starts with an A, 10 people, all from their RPA team, experts in RPA. I was totally intimidated. I still pulled it off. They loved the presentation and they said it was practical because I was speaking from a person who didn't know anything about RPA and what you need to know. So I came out
speaking from Google. I quite like that.
So it worked out well, but I was like, wow, that was pretty intense. I don't know if I would, I was expecting that exactly.
No, I think actually I forgot to talk about TEDx as well. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
And that really was like, not that I'm not qualified to talk about resilience, but it's not the thing that I normally talk about. So it really pushed me out of my comfort zone. But I was like, you know what? I've got as good a chance as any. I'm just going to put myself forward for it. And now I'm like almost in the final.
Yay! That is awesome.
Although they're literally going to start promoting it this week with my face on. So, I mean, I'll have to really mess it up, I think, to not get through now. So,
are you going to be lip syncing?
You got
first ever TEDx lip sync.
I know.
Fair enough.
They do get a little particular, so I don't know if they'll let you lip sync. But maybe you should just break all the rules and do it anyways.
Lip sync.
Well, it all depends on whether I'm going to be Zooming it or whether it's going to be. It's not till May the actual filming. So because if it's in a studio or something, I can't take the den with me. And the den is part of the talk right now, so I have to figure that out.
Yeah,
that's a huge.
We're excited.
Susan, you're gonna be great.
I feel like the den is just your mindset, right? So you can take the den anywhere.
Oh yeah, it's portable. It's coming to Chateau Danville.
Robbie's portable too.
Robbie's ready. Robbie's ready for Saturday, Sarah.
I think Robbie needs to meet Bradley sometime soon.
Very soon.
Who's Robbie?
It's happening.
Madison's like, wait a second, who's Robbie?
Oh my! Where have you been,
Robbie Williams?
Stay tuned. Stay tuned.
The love of my life, like more than. Well, I was going to say more than Sarah loves Bradley, but she's doing a pretty good job of out Robbieing me.
So Susan has a life-size Robbie. You can't see it right now, but when she takes down her pink, you'll see Robbie displayed at all times.
But why did I? But I feel like I should know this. Hold on.
On the happy hours, Robbie's there in the back if you pay attention.
So he's there.
Oh, okay. Yes.
He is. He's there.
Yeah. He is.
You just break your background?
I totally. I've totally just broken the den, so that's fine.
No, never.
Robbie needs his day in the sun, though. You know, he doesn't like to be, forgotten for too long.
On that note, Susan, I have to go.
I know. Thank you for hanging. Any last thoughts from any of you ladies?
I just think this was wonderful. Susan, thank you so much.
We need to do this again. Every time I do it, I have so much fun and feel like it brings so much value. So definitely, I definitely think we need Catherine on for like a master class. And
you know what? I'd be happy. I'd be happy to assist, and I can assist in shooting for the stars when we're asking for pricing and compensation.
Awesome.
Right. There you go.
Wait.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys. That was so great. Yep, I will see you next Monday in the next day today. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.